Have you ever stopped to think about it? I mean, really think about what makes our planet Earth so special. We're floating in a universe with maybe billions of other planets, but ours is just teeming with life. It seems like it's got some kind of secret recipe. So today, let's try and figure out what that cosmic recipe is for a living planet. I mean, just look at it. When you see Earth from space, it's just this incredible, vibrant blue marble. So beautiful, right? But it also looks kind of lonely out there. We're surrounded by this immense, quiet, cosmos, and it just makes you ask this massive question. With all those other planets, why here? Why is this the only spot we know of where life actually happened? Okay, so to figure that out, let's put on our cosmic chef hats from a bit. We're going to break down the exact recipe, the ingredients that let life flourish here. Let's see what makes Earth the perfect home. All right, ingredient number 1. And here's the thing, the first absolutely critical ingredient in our recipe, it isn't even about the planet itself. It's about where it is. You've heard it a million times in real estate, right? Well, in space, it's exactly the same. Location, location, location. And this is a perfect picture of what we call the Goldilocks principle. See that green band? That's the habitable zone. If you're too close to the sun over in that red zone, forget it. Your oceans would just boil away. A little too far, out in the blue zone, and they'd be frozen solid. But Earth, we're right there, in that sweet spot where water can stay liquid. And that, right there, is the absolute cornerstone for life as we know it. And check this out. This really shows you just how tiny that perfect window is. Earth cruises along at a pretty comfy 15 degrees Celsius on average. Now, what about our next-door neighbors? Venus is a blistering 450 degrees. Get this. That's hotter than Mercury, and Mercury is even closer to the sun. How does that work? Well, Venus has this super thick atmosphere that traps heat like a runaway greenhouse. It's a pretty stark reminder of how lucky we are that our distance is, well, just right. So that's ingredient number 1, being in the habitable zone. It's the essential first step. But, living in the right neighborhood isn't everything. You also need the right kind of house. So, what's ingredient number 2? Well, it turns out location is only half the battle. For this recipe to work, a planet also has to be the perfect size. So why does size matter so much? It's pretty simple, actually. More size means more mass, and more mass means more gravity. And gravity, well, that's the one thing that lets a planet hold onto its atmosphere. You can think of the atmosphere as this protective blanket of gases, right? And without enough gravity, that blanket just floats away into space. Let's take a look at Mars, for example. It's a lot smaller, so it has much weaker gravity. And what happened? Its atmosphere is now about 100 times thinner than ours. Most of it just escaped over billions of years. But Earth? Our size gives us just the right amount of gravitational pull to hang on to this thick, life-giving atmosphere. It's not too strong, not too weak. Yep, Goldilocks strikes again. Okay, so we've got the right location. Check. We've got the right size. Check. What's next? Well, the final ingredient is a bit more complex. It's not just one thing. It's actually a powerful, multi-layered defense system. That's right. Earth has not one, but 2 protective shields. Shield number 1 is our atmosphere. Now, we all know it gives us oxygen to breathe, which is pretty important. But some of that oxygen also gets converted into something called ozone. And this ozone layer, it acts like a giant sunscreen for the whole planet, blocking out most of the sun's really dangerous ultraviolet or UV radiation, the kind of stuff that can really mess up living cells. But here's the deal. Even a great atmosphere isn't enough on its own. Space is a pretty rough neighborhood. Luckily for us, Earth has a secret weapon, a second shield, and this one is completely invisible. And that invisible shield is our magnetic field. Deep inside our planet, a molten iron core is churning away, and that basically turns the Earth into a giant magnet. This creates a huge invisible force field all around us. What does it do? It deflects something called the solar wind, which is a constant blast of high-energy particles from the sun. And this is crucial because without that magnetic shield, the solar wind would just slowly peel our atmosphere away and fling it into space, which is probably what happened to Mars. So, there you have it, the recipe, the perfect location, the perfect size, and a 2-layered shield. You mix all of those ingredients together and you get something, well, something really, really special. But as we're about to see, it's also incredibly fragile. And this quote really nails it. See, it's not just one of these things that makes Earth work. It's the precise, delicate combination of all of them working together perfectly. It's like a cosmic perfect storm in a good way. You change just one ingredient, move us a little closer to the sun, make the planet a bit smaller, switch off that magnetic field, and poof, life as we know it just wouldn't be possible. And to really get a sense of just how fragile this home of ours is, think about this. It's a great analogy. If you imagine the entire Earth is the size of an apple, then the whole zone of life, everything from the deepest part of the ocean to the highest mountain peak, all of it would exist in a layer that's as thin as the skin on that apple. Just let that sink in. Every single living thing we know of in the entire universe exists in that one tiny, fragile layer. It's a pretty powerful way to think about how precious and, well, unique our home really is. And that leaves us with one last, huge, awe-inspiring question. We figured out the recipe. We know the ingredients. So, how rare is it? How many other planets out there in the unbelievable vastness of the universe actually manage to get this recipe exactly right?